10,000 years ago, on the shores of a lagoon in Kenya, a pregnant woman fell face first into the mud. Her hands didn't move to protect her face. Not because she didn't want to, but because they were tied behind her back. Around her, 26 other bodies sank into the water. Adults with shattered skulls, children pierced by arrows. One man had an obsidian blade lodged in his skull. But that didn't kill him. It was the brutal blow that crushed the right side of his face. No one buried them. The bodies lay there until 2012, when bones began appearing in the desert. This is Nataruk, the oldest evidence of systematic warfare among nomadic hunter-gatherers. It changes everything we thought about when humans began killing each other en masse. For decades, anthropologists believed that organized conflicts only emerged when humans became farmers. Nataruk destroyed that theory. The 27 bodies date back 10,000 years. No cities, no farms, no armies. And yet, it was a planned attack. The attackers carried arrows with obsidian tips, showing they came from far away. 10 skeletons show extreme cranial trauma, projectile wounds, broken bones. 4 victims had their hands tied. This wasn't survival. It was extermination. Why? A lagoon rich in fish, surrounded by forest, with fresh water. A valuable oasis. And sometimes, humans decide it should be theirs alone. If war existed before agriculture, what happened after? Things got worse. In 1983, workers in Germany found 34 skeletons. Men, women, children, all with lethal head wounds. Talheim dates to 5000 BC, the first farmers of Central Europe. The lack of young women suggests they were taken. This wasn't battle, it was elimination. At Shonik, 26 bodies, half had their shin bones intentionally broken. Same tool, same pattern. Possibly while they were alive, as torture. All these massacres share something. The weapons were typical of the local culture. The attackers weren't invaders. They were neighbors just a few kilometers away. Around 5000 BC, something transformed Europe into widespread violence. And no site compares to Herxheim. Archaeologists found remains of 1,000 individuals. Analyses show they came from up to 500 kilometers away. They were brought to Herxheim on purpose. The bodies were systematically dismembered. Skulls split, creating symmetrical halves. The skull caps became containers, cups made from human skulls. Herxheim was a cult center with cannibalism on an unprecedented scale. People weren't just eaten, they were drunk from their own skulls. It's the largest known Neolithic massacre site. But was the Neolithic the origin of violence? No. In 2009, archaeologists in Transylvania found a skull from 33,000 years ago, cracked like an egg, 2 massive, identical fractures. The first blow knocked him out. The second killed him. It's the oldest evidence of intentional homicide among Homo sapiens. But it certainly wasn't the first. It's just the first we can prove. Jebel Sahaba, in Sudan, 13,400 years ago. At least 64 individuals, all with signs of violent death. Perforated skulls, fractured ribs. Too young, people with extensive wounds across their entire bodies. Instant death. Why? The Nile was drying up. When water and food become scarce, competition intensifies. But extreme violence isn't exclusive to Homo sapiens. Atapuerca, Spain. Remains from 850,000 years ago. Trinchera de Lina, TD6, holds 11 hominids. Not Homo sapiens, but human ancestors. Over 30% show cut marks from processing. They were eaten. But here's the disturbing part. No adults. All children or teenagers. More than half were under 10 years old. This wasn't survival. That region had abundant resources. The theory: young ones were vulnerable targets. Eliminating them prevented rival groups from growing. Strategic cannibalism. This happened 850,000 years ago, long before Homo sapiens existed. We didn't inherit violence from civilization, we inherited it from our evolutionary lineage. So, are we doomed to violence? A study analyzed over 1,000 species. Primates have much higher rates of violence. In prehistoric humans, it reached 15% in some periods. But here's the crucial point. Human violence isn't constant. It rises and falls depending on environmental factors, population density, and culture. Nataruk during territorial competition. Massacres during climate crisis. Jebel Sahaba during drought. But not all were violent. Dozens of sites show careful burials, low trauma rates. Some societies lived centuries in peace. Violence isn't an inevitable destiny. We're not programmed for it. It's an evolutionary possibility. Something we can do, but not something we must do. Let's go back to that lagoon. In Kenya, the pregnant woman with tied hands, the man with obsidian in his skull. 27 people with lives, stories, communities. Nataruk isn't just a window to the past. It's a mirror of what we're capable of. The same motivations from 10,000 years ago, territory, resources, revenge, power continue here today. Ethnic conflicts, wars over water, modern genocides. Technology has changed, but the motivation's basically the same. Archaeology shows that humans have always been capable of extreme violence from the beginning, but also of cooperation, empathy, creation, construction. The same peoples who committed massacres also developed agriculture, domesticated animals, built villages. The same ones who created Herxheim also sculpted magnificent art. We are both predators and protectors, destroyers and builders. The question isn't whether we have the capacity for violence. Clearly, we do. The question is, what do we do with that capacity? Unlike the ancestors at Naturuk, we have something they didn't have. Historical consciousness, knowledge of the past. We know what happened. We know the consequences, and we can choose differently. Archaeology gives us that opportunity. If you enjoyed this dark journey through archaeology, subscribe to Extinct Victory. We unearth the most disturbing secrets of prehistory, from brutal extinct creatures to ancestral massacres that history tried to bury. And look, there's much more dark history to tell. Subscribe and hit the bell. Until next time.